Long before the world knew Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and even Warren Buffett, there was a family who was stinking rich and eminent. Other than Adolf Hitler, this family was the one who gave Germany the limelight. What exactly made them so opulent? Well, it is finance and business acumen. This is the story of a high achiever who, along with his sons, went on to lay the foundations of an influential empire. We'll tell you how a sharp-minded person put his knowledge to good use and strategized his dominance in the field of banking and finance. Although this family may not be as prominent as they were back in the day, their groundbreaking services in the banking sector cannot be forgotten. Mayer Amschel Rothschild, the man who brought fame to his house, was born to Amschel Moses Rothschild in 1744. He was a Jewish German native and spent most part of his life in Frankfurt. His father did goods trading and currency exchange as a business. Fate had some other plans for Mayer, as the early death of his parents made him do an apprenticeship at Simon Wolf Oppenheimer's banking house in Hanover in 1757. Little did anyone know that this man would have a considerable control over the European economy and politics in the future. By 1785, Mayer had started to climb ladders of success and became the financial advisor to the Landgrave of Hesse-Kassel. He got married to Gudel Schnapper, whose father was a money changer and court factor. Together, they had 10 children, 5 daughters, and 5 sons named Nathan, James Jacob, Salomon, Carl, and Amschel Mayer. Each of his sons made sure to strengthen as well as expand the supremacy of the Rothschild Empire. Do not skip this video, and we'll tell you what brought glory to this family and most likely made them the richest family ever. Mayer Rothschild was a wise man. He was eyeing affluence for a long term, and this man wanted results to be in his favor against all odds. Rothschild believed in fathering as many sons as possible, who would eventually propel the business growth and play key roles in spreading their network. His smartest move was to send each of his sons to major cities of Europe, such as Paris, Vienna, London, Naples, and Frankfurt. Initially, they dealt with luxury items and foreign exchange, and eventually transitioned into banking. In a short period, the Rothschilds began to taste sweet success. In 1804, Nathan Rothschild efficiently established N.M. Rothschild and Sons in London. Meanwhile, his brothers also established offices in Paris, Vienna, and Naples by the 1820s to lay the foundations of the Rothschild banking dynasty. While Mayer and his son, Amschel, looked after the business affairs in Frankfurt, the 5 linked branches across Europe were the first bank to transcend borders. Success for Rothschilds became inevitable when the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars of 1792-1815 proved to be extremely fortunate for them. Mayer Amschel cleverly took advantage of the wars and the French Revolution by equipping the Austrian army with arms and uniforms. This came as a realization to Rothschild, who wanted to capture even greater fortunes across the gold Europe was at that time. Simultaneously, Nathan Rothschild was capitalizing the booming textile industry of London through 3 profitable sources: raw material, dyeing, and manufacturing. The investment of £20,000 his father had given him tripled to £60,000. How interesting is the fact that while a large number of families were living miserably during the war, the Rothschilds were taking advantage of every opportunity that came their way to expand their empire, be it legal or illegal. The Rothschild family during World War II faced extreme hostility and life threats in Germany. Their Jewish faith was the reason many of the family members had to flee Europe. This bitterness resulted in both personal and financial losses for the Rothschilds. In the years to come, the Rothschild banking dynasty once again tried to stand firm in the industry. The secret of their success? Government financing. Since the beginning, this family had closely worked with the governments, and by having a healthy connection with them, they could once again thrive in the industry. Mayer Amschel Rothschild was undoubtedly a blessed person. All of his sons were competent and adept. Their dynasty tasted sweet expansion thanks to their skillfulness. However, fate was only in favor of their father and Rothschild's 5 sons, who were not fortunate enough. Sadly, not all of Mayer Amschel's grandsons were proficient enough to successfully manage the family business. Nevertheless, it wouldn't be wrong to say that this family has always been lucky. Their downfall was not a disastrous one, unlike the others we have seen in history. They are still well known in European countries, and to date, the Rothschild family is active in the banking industry. With that, they have made sure to return to society with their philanthropic work. The wars brought even greater prosperity and influence to the Rothschilds, since they smuggled as well as legally traded the most needed products: wheat, cotton, colonial produce, and arms. Moreover, they also facilitated international payment transfers between the British Isles and the continent, despite Napoleon's failed attempt to close them. And this, in turn, favored them hugely. Nathan had set eyes on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He bought gold worth 800,000 pounds from the East India Company and sent it to France despite any hurdles that came his way. Additionally, Rothschild's banking dynasty hugely benefited from the wars. Since they were one of the main pioneers of modern banking and had an efficient network across different cities of Europe, they rendered profitable foreign exchange services. After the wars were over, Rothschilds continued to bloom in the banking sector. Even though the richest man in the world, Nathan Rothschild, died in 1836, the Rothschild family stood firm under the leadership of James Rothschild. They continued international business dealings and elevated their role to become a significant agent in government securities, in insurance company stocks, and in shares of industrial companies. The Rothschild empire was already peaking when the make-or-break Industrial Revolution happened. Since they were sensible enough to grab a golden opportunity, there was no way they would let go of any chance to make the most out of the Industrial Revolution. When your preparations are top-notch, you are bound to taste the sweet-born fruits. That is exactly what the investments of Rothschilds in railway, coal, and ironworking did. This family went on to do better and better as their business stretched to the fields of merchant and private banking, asset management, venture capital, sovereign debt, and commodities. But every rise shall be destined to see a fall. No, the Rothschild family was no divine being. They were doing well in the banking industry as they were consistently expanding. But in the later years of the 19th century, their ever-increasing fortune and power seemed to come to a halt. The Rothschilds were getting some fierce competition from different groups in Europe, the Morgan and Wall Street groups in the United States.